So we're about to see what this Eastwood chassis restoration kit can do here. It actually works pretty good. So the first product that we used was this gel rust dissolver, which I don't know if I did it right. I mean, it was pretty hot the day that I put it on the truck, and then I let it sit overnight like you're supposed to, but it didn't seem to do much. I mean, it's supposed to get it pretty clean like they have on the bottle here, and it really wasn't that clean, but I don't know, maybe it worked. But this rust encapsulator stuff, it's super thick, but it worked really well. And then the next coat, which is not included in this video, is Extreme Chassis Black. So let's go check it out. So the frame right now has the rust encapsulator on the outside of it, and it has worked pretty well. I mean, it's a pretty hard finish, and I can scratch it if I poke at it with something metal, but I mean, you really got to try to scratch this thing. If you're just scratching it with your hand, it's nothing. So it's pretty hard. It appeared to cover the metal pretty well, so we'll see how it holds up. Well, I'm about ready to give up on these running boards. What's going on here is they're very old and they're very rusted, like everything else on this thing. And the bolts are tucked way up in here, and the backs just spin. There's no head on the other side that you can grab. There's even one up on top of this bracket, and the bracket appears to be welded or rusted or otherwise fused to the running board. So I think my strategy is I'm gonna, when we get the cab off, stick a sawzall in that crack, try and cut them out of there. Just got the torque tube separated from the rear end, and there is definitely something sitting in that tube. I think we found the source of the clicking sound. Sweating pretty hard here. This rear end's really putting up a fight. I'm trying to take the rear end out so that I can take it to the drying line shot and just have it gone through, because it hasn't been apart in 80 years. These old Banjo rear ends literally are just driven off of a single spline turning the brake drum. This torque tube arm won't come off. And there is the pin. What happened here is this pin somehow fell through and has just been dangling around in there for 50 years. And then over here on this side, I can't get this torque arm off. That bolt just keeps spinning. Yeah, so this is pretty bad right here. This drum was actually turning without the axle turning. And what's happening here is you can see this is a keyed shaft, and this is all that, this little bar is all that applies power onto the hub. And you can see that this has been rocking in here, and it has really widened up this groove in the axle. Probably gonna have to replace this axle. Whereas if you come and look at this side, the cut is much cleaner, much cleaner. And even this messed up key even sits in here a lot better. So, I mean, that's actually very tight. That doesn't rock at all. So, we're going to need both an axle and a key on that side. This looks like a bad seal as well over here. This will be fun. So I actually got a lot of work done today, more than I kind of expected to have to do. The rear end's out of the truck completely. It's a mess, as you've seen. The brake line's tied up. This torque tube is going to pose some challenges putting it back together. It's pretty chewed up. It's got the two pins that are supposed to pin it together. One of them is completely ground up. The other's pretty beaten up now. It's going to take some finessing to get it in. But I think we might actually be ready to start working on getting this frame back together next. So, more to come. So, this Eastwood rust revolver doesn't really appear to have done anything other than make a mess. There's a couple of, you can see there's still rust like pouring out of it. A couple of little spots that might have gotten something removed from it, but not much. It's basically just made a gigantic mess of everything. I guess we'll see what the frame looks like. So this is after, and I really put it on here hard. I wrapped it just like they did online on the videos. It does not appear to have done much. next day after putting the Eastwood rust encapsulator on. It didn't quite work as expected. Sorry, this is not the rust encapsulator. This is the gel rust remover. I mean, some spots it appears to have done something, but like you can barely even tell that it did anything on the torque tube. Up there is where it was not applied. Down here is where it was applied. All I can say is that the frame looks a little bit cleaner in some spots, and in other spots, like that was brand new metal, it now looks worse. So, on this side especially, that new metal looks way worse. But we're gonna have faith in the system, and we're gonna give it a try. We're gonna try the rust encapsulator next, so we'll see how it goes. Get in there. Little trick. You know, paint always catches in this lip right here. Grab an awl. Punch a little hole in it. It'll drain back in there. And it'll seal when you seal your lid back on. So a little bit of an update here. The rust encapsulator is all dried. Actually looks pretty darn good.